Hey Mask, it's time we had a heart-to-heart. I've been watching your escapades for quite some time. You've got some real energy, I'll give you that. All that chaos, the zany stunts, the crazy moves. But have you ever stopped to think, what are you really getting out of it? Look, I'm all for a good laugh. I mean, I turned water into wine at a wedding once. But here's the thing, what you're doing, it's not really bringing you or anyone else any lasting joy. You're always running around, chasing the next thrill, but when was the last time you just stopped? Stop to think about the kind of impact you're making on the world, on the people around you. You're living in this whirlwind, creating chaos. But in the end, all that's left is a mess. Do you know who benefits from chaos? No one. And believe me, I've seen enough chaos in my time to know that when it's all said and done, it doesn't build anything that lasts. I'm here to offer you something better. Real power doesn't come from being unpredictable or wild. It comes from being consistent in kindness, from choosing to use your gifts in a way that lifts others up rather than tearing everything down. Sure, you can use your energy to make people laugh. That's a gift. But why not add a little love into the mix? A little compassion? Maybe even some self-control. Look, Mask, I get it. Chaos is fun. It's unpredictable. It's wild. It keeps everyone on their toes. But let's be honest here. That kind of excitement? It fades. Chaos never lasts. What lasts is the good you leave behind. Trust me, people remember kindness far more than they remember chaos. You see, love, kindness, and patience, those things don't get old. They don't lose their shine. You could be the guy who brings joy, real joy, to people's lives. And believe me, they need it. Have you looked around lately? It's a tough world out there. People are stressed, they're hurting. They don't need more mayhem. They need someone to show them that things can be better. And here's the kicker, that someone could be you. I know. You're thinking, me? The guy with the green face and the crazy antics? That's not my style. But here's the thing, you've got heart. Somewhere beneath all the crazy, there's someone who wants to do good. Someone who wants to make the world a little bit brighter. And I'm here to tell you, it's easier than you think. You don't have to change who you are. Just change how you use your gifts. Imagine this. Instead of causing mayhem at every turn, what if you used your powers to help people, to make their day a little better? You've got the tools, you've got the energy, all you need is the direction. And hey, I've got a pretty good map for that. It's been around for a while. You might have heard of it, the Bible, full of tips on how to turn that chaotic energy into something truly powerful. Now, let's talk about this power you've got. It's not every day you come across someone who can bend reality like you can. You've got skills, Mask. But what are you using them for? Right now, you're the guy pulling pranks, shaking things up. But think about what you could be if you switched gears. Remember that time you sent someone flying across the street with just a flick of your finger? Funny in the moment, but how did that person feel after? Probably dizzy, probably confused. Here's a thought. What if, instead of sending people flying, you used that same power to lift them up? Not literally, of course. No more throwing people. I mean lifting their spirits, brightening their day with something positive. Think about it. When you walk into a room, people expect chaos. They brace themselves. But imagine if you walked in and brought peace, joy, and a bit of unexpected kindness. You could turn their whole day around. And the best part? They'd remember that feeling. You'd go from being the guy who wrecks everything to the guy who makes things better. That's real power, my friend. The kind that sticks with people long after the moment passes. Here's something a lot of people don't realize, Mask. Real strength doesn't come from doing whatever you want, whenever you want. It's found in knowing when to hold back. I know. Where's the fun in that, right? But think about it. When you control your power, when you choose how and when to use it for the right reasons, that's when it becomes truly unstoppable. Remember that time you turned a quiet, peaceful night into an absolute circus? Sure, it was entertaining, for a moment. But then what? People were left to clean up the mess, and the laughter didn't last. But what if you used that same energy to bring peace to that moment instead? To take that quiet night and turn it into something beautiful. Something that people remember with a smile, not a sigh of relief once you're gone. People expect you to go wild, to break the rules. But real power, true power, comes from knowing you could do that, and then choosing not to. It's in the restraint. It's in holding back, not because you can't, but because you can, and choose not to. That's strength. And believe me, it's a lot more satisfying than any prank or stunt you could pull. Here's something to think about, Mask. When it's all said and done, what do you want people to remember about you? The guy who showed up, turned the place upside down, and then disappeared? Or the one who left things better than he found them? Let me tell you, I've seen empires rise and fall. I've seen chaos and destruction, and I've seen moments of greatness. And you know what sticks? The good, the love, the kindness. That's the stuff that echoes through time. People remember the good you do, long after the chaos is forgotten. And let's face it, you've got a gift. The ability to make people laugh is no small thing. But imagine if you added purpose to that laughter. Imagine if you could make people laugh and feel better about themselves, about life, about the world. That's the legacy worth building. That's the kind of impact that lasts. You know, Mask, there's something incredible about helping others. I know that might sound a little cliche, but hear me out. You've been on a roller coaster ride, pulling stunts left and right, leaving people dazed and confused. But have you ever tried to make someone's day better without causing a ruckus? It's a whole different kind of thrill. The truth is, bringing a smile to someone's face, or lifting them up when they're down, leaves a lasting impression. You've got the ability to change people's moods instantly. Use it wisely. Remember that time when you made the bank explode just for laughs? Yeah, that was wild. But how about next time? Instead of causing chaos, you do something that makes people feel better, calmer, even hopeful. Helping others isn't about sacrificing fun. In fact, it's one of the most fulfilling things you can do. And guess what? You can still be the life of the party, but now you'll be the one people want to have around, instead of the guy they brace themselves for. You get to be the hero. And I'll let you in on a secret. Heroes get way more applause than troublemakers. Let me ask you something, Mask. When's the last time you felt truly satisfied? I'm not talking about the quick laughs or the crazy antics. I mean real deep-down contentment. That's the thing about chaos. It gives you a rush, but it doesn't last. What lasts is the good you do, the joy you spread. You know, you're sitting on a gold mine here. You've got humor, you've got personality, and that's a gift. But you're leaving so much potential on the table. Imagine how much more fun it would be if your jokes didn't leave a mess behind. If instead, you became the guy who could turn a dull day into something magical without wrecking everything in sight. Laughter's a beautiful thing, but the best kind is the kind that doesn't hurt anyone. And I know you've got it in you to pull that off. It's not about changing who you are. It's about using your energy in ways that lift people up, instead of leaving them with a disaster to clean up. Believe me, there's a lot more fun in that than you might think. Here's a thought for you, Mask. Have you ever thought about love? I'm not talking about the mushy romantic stuff. I'm talking about the kind of love that transforms people. The kind of love that makes someone feel seen, valued, appreciated. You've spent so much time chasing the wild side of life that I think you've missed out on the true beauty of what love can do. When you act out of love, when you choose to do something kind, something good, that's when you really tap into something powerful. Love is more than just a feeling. It's an action. It's the way you treat people, the way you use your gifts to make the world a little brighter, a little better. Think of it this way. You've got all this power at your fingertips. What if you channeled it into something that leaves people feeling uplifted instead of unsettled? Love doesn't mean you stop being fun. It means you start using your fun to connect with others, to make them feel better, not worse. You know, Mask, there's something incredible about positivity. I know it might sound like one of those feel-good bumper sticker slogans, but think about it. Have you ever noticed how negativity and chaos just wear people down? You've seen it. You create some havoc, get a few laughs. But what happens after the dust settles? People are left exhausted, stressed, or worse, frustrated. You want to be unforgettable, right? Well, people never forget the ones who made them feel better, who lightened their load, even for a moment. That's the kind of impact that lingers, the kind that makes you a legend in the best way possible.